Welcome to another episode of the Your Longevity Blueprint podcast. Today, my guest is Amy Wienands, who is a wife, mother of twins, and president CEO of Amy Wienands Real Estate. Amy's no stranger to the real estate industry and creating impact. For nearly 3 decades, Amy has been committed to creating an impact in her community and the growth of those around her through the vehicle of real estate. After 20 years as an independent agent, Amy took a leap of faith and started the Cedar Valley's first team-centric real estate office, I cannot say that, Amy Wienands Real Estate. You're
Tongue
gonna have
twister.
to You're going to have to tell me what team centric means after this. But Amy and her team have been consistently ranked as one of the top 100 teams in the nation, and Iowa's #1 team of realtors for the past 8 years. Wow. Starting with a staff of just 2 in 2013, the team has continued to grow exponentially. Purpose and a servant heart lead her team to embody their slogan, obsessively working for you. But it's not all real estate for Amy, though. Her biggest passion in this life is to help people live out their purpose. She knows she's been put on the earth for more and is called to inspire, motivate, and leave a significant mark on this world. She's the host of the You Are More podcast, a place of revelation and encouragement for all, and a pillar of faith for many. Amy is a firm believer that hard work, principles of faith, and having that pop back factor are the keys to success. So welcome to the show, Amy.
Hey, thanks so much. I'm honored to be here.
Well, I want to talk about a lot of things today, but I do want to mention, as I did in your bio, that you have an amazing podcast. You just list like so many short little lessons there, and I've taken a lot from that. And you had me on the show, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'm sure the listeners are thinking, okay, so this is a realtor that you're bringing on the show. So tie this into health and longevity. And I just want to tell listeners, you stay tuned because all this content that Amy's going to share today is going to apply to your health. So let's just start with your story, right? The story behind you building your company and that, what did I say in your bio? Team-centric real estate office. So let's start with
Yeah.
your story and then we'll get into some mindset things. But tell me your story first.
Okay, so quickly, I like literally went to school in Orange City at Northwestern College, and I ended up in Cook County Jail, teaching employability skills to inmates.
I thought you were going to say you ended up as an inmate, but that, okay,
I,
you
I could have. I could have. From, but I spent my days at 26th in California, one of the hardest areas in Chicago, and then I lived up right off of Michigan Avenue, right? So
yeah.
like it was it was a contrast every day. But I was riding the train to work one morning. And my dad had given me the book, The Magic of Thinking Big. And I was like, I kept looking at the faces of the people I worked with because I was loving my job at Cook County. Like those inmates were awesome. They were never going to see the light of day, but I loved them. Okay. And obviously it's a jail setting. It's not very great. But I looked at the people around it and I thought, man, the looks on their face, they've been here 20, 30 years. I don't want to look like that. They're cynical. They're beat down. I'm like, I don't think this is for me. So I called my dad. I'm like, hey, I'm going to come back to the Cedar Valley and sell real estate. He about blew a gasket, about the only time he has with us. Like, are you serious? So anyway, I got into it. I actually got into it. I wanted to be a pastor instead. I really wanted to be a pastor.
Oh, I can
And
see
my dad
that.
said to me,
Yeah, yeah,
hey,
yeah.
no, you need to go do something in the world because no one can relate to you. Just like get out there and know what the people, what everyone deals with every day. So I initially started off, my whole core premise was I have to do things with excellence because I represent something bigger than myself.
Mm.
And I have always led with that. And from day one, like excellence has been a big thing. It's okay. I'm here. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability because I
Yeah.
represent something bigger than my own name.
Yeah. Well said.
And I don't, and not that I do it perfectly and I've failed many times and, every day, but my goal is always to present things in a mindset and an attitude of, I'm going to make impact in people's lives and they're going to leave better by having contact. Right.
Yeah. And that's why I feel
So,
listening to your podcast. I'm like, yes, yes. I'm
so
motivated.
so when I started in real estate, I'm like, okay, I had gotten on this treadmill. Like I was doing so much as a solo agent, like 130 transactions a year as a solo agent is a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And I believe in growth. So every year this transaction treadmill the incline kept getting higher and higher. And one day, someone called me and said, Amy, I can get you so much more business. And I said, sir, no, thank you. I just need a life. I need a life. He said, I'll hook you up with this coach. He goes, it sounds like you really just need a coach. I'm like, okay. I so believe in coaching. I so believe in someone else's voice. Like if you just, I so believe in it. But anyway, so I hired this coach and she's like, Amy, you need a team. And literally I was so desperate. When you're desperate, you'll do things that are radical. I was so desperate that in 3 weeks I had a team formed. I'm like, done. Let's do this. Because I was like, I'm going to go all in. And sometimes you just have to go all in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I have nothing to lose. This life of, constant work, constant pressure all the time. I'm like, I have to go all in. And that day is benchmarked in my life where he made that call. I know exactly where I took the call at. And I know exactly the decision I made. And I'm like, okay, one decision changes everything. I'm going to do something different because you have one life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, from that day forward, I'm like, I'll buy the software. I'll do all the things. I went out on a limb and I started to build a team in a Remax office, and Remax is great, but it was at the time, didn't believe in teams. Okay. It didn't have it. So I had been there. I had great owners that were the owners of my company. They were friends of mine. They were great. And I got to a point where, hey, where I'm going, it just doesn't support it. So I had to jump out of my own. So there you go. And I wanted to be very team centric. So I believe in specialty and specialization. And so I split my company up into buyer specialists and listing partners and transaction coordinators and video departments. Like I just specialized everything. And we led with this. We're here to make a difference and to make an impact on our community that's positive. And not only are we great real estate agents, but we have positive, impactful lives. And so I'm a wholeness person. Like I want a team that has wholeness, not that they're just burning the midnight oil doing real estate, but they have wholeness in their life. And so that's how it was created. That's how it started. And that's how we've continued.
Different structure, but clearly has led to success. So let's
Yeah.
talk about success. So
Yeah.
congratulations on your success. But what's the number one thing you have to be to have success in this world?
I think you have to be resilient. I
Mm.
would say
If
resilient.
you get knocked back down, you get back up again.
Yeah, so I have many of you know her, but Barbara Corcoran, who
Hmm.
I've had the opportunity to be kind of partnered with her for 11 years, and I've had so many conversations with her. And the one time I said, "What do you think is your number one? What's your magic bullet?" And she
Yeah.
goes, "I get back up, and I get back up faster than most people do." And I thought about myself, I'm like, yeah, the pop back factor. You have to be able to get knocked down and pop back up. And in order to do that, you have to believe that there's something deeper on the inside, that your life has a bigger purpose.
Mm.
Otherwise, you'll just cave to all the things. You'll cave to your emotions. You'll cave to the circumstances. So you just have to get back up and like, okay, I'm here and go at it again. And I think that's what I see in so many different areas of life. Do people have the ability to pop back up? Because life punches.
Hmm.
Right? I
I
mean,
know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's so true. I mean, when I look at some of the most successful people, at least hearing their stories, they've all been knocked down, but they all got back up. So yeah, that's a good answer. I know I want to bring in faith here. So do you
Yeah,
believe God wants us to be successful?
I do. I believe that with everything in my being. And I first had that revelation of it when I was just getting started in real estate. And it was a scripture that said, Brethren, I desire above all things that you prosper and be in health just as your soul prospers.
Mm.
And I'm like, God is a wholeness God. Does that mean he wants everyone to walk around and here's your multimillionaires? I think that you're given what you need in proportion to your assignment on this earth, right?
Mm.
So for some people, what they're called on this earth to do, it might require, hey, I want to have enough to pay for my kids to go to college, whatever that is. For others, maybe you want to change the world and you need a bigger amount of you need more finances to do that. Like whatever you're drawing on, I feel like your faith and your expectation draw on it. And if you build the skills to create impact and do the things, like I totally believe that God is a God of increase.
Mm.
That's
Yes.
what it says.
Yeah. Yeah.
God is
Yeah.
a God of increase. I'll increase you the more and the more,
Hmm.
both
Yeah.
you and your children.
Yes. Yes. Do you think some of our success comes from our dreams? Do you think it starts with a dream?
I think so much of it starts with a dream.
And what are our dream killers? Would
Fear.
you say? Yeah.
Fear and what are
Yeah.
people going to think?
Yep.
I think those are the two biggest Achilles we have.
And how do we recognize that? I mean, fear is kind of pretty obvious, but
But fear is tricky because fear can look like wisdom.
that you're
And
saying no or
fear can look like wisdom
yeah.
and prudence, right?
Yeah.
And in reality, where it's all dependent on the source. Is it fear based, or is it like, no, I just know this is what I'm supposed to do? Like you
So
have to
how do we
really
know?
evaluate,
Yeah, yeah.
huh?
So how do we know if it's fear?
So to me, like I mean, obviously, I'm not. I mean, we deal with fear until the day we leave this earth.
Hmm.
It's part of our. But I'm like, I always go back to I'm like, God, you've not given me a spirit of fear.
Hmm.
You've given me a sound mind, right? So like I'm led by my peace. I might
Yep.
be nervous on the inside, but peace
Hmm.
is what I trust. I might be
Yep.
anxious, I might be nervous, but there's a deep down knowing that God,
Hmm.
you have me. My steps are ordered. Every day I affirm my steps are ordered, right? I'm in the right place to meet the right people at the right time. And that the wrong doors are gonna close and the right doors are gonna open. And I wish that life was like straight trajectory up, 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 up. But so many times I've found like you know God, you can talk about God on the mountaintops, but you know him in the valley.
Hmm.
It's a whole different conversation.
Hmm. Yep. And I would agree. I think all the major decisions I've had to make in life, I've always had, when I've had that peace, I have the peace to move forward or the peace to stay put, or they just having that peace really can guide the decisions. And I think when you have that sense of peace, then you know that's not fear. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
You're also
It's
a
not that you're
big,
not going to feel anxious.
yeah, yeah. I want to talk about taking action because you're also big on that and kind of overcoming obstacles. And
Yeah.
this can even relate to health, changing a diet or taking your supplements or, shifting something with your lifestyle. So, how do you overcome paralysis by analysis?
Well, the only way to do that is to take a step forward, right? And so everything in my life has had to be like I have to keep moving and taking action steps
Hmm.
because if I don't, I future pace is how I actually do it,
Well, I want to
right?
talk a lot about that too. I was just
So
listening
fu-
to your, yeah, yeah.
so future pacing to me is the way to move past paralysis by analysis. Like if I sit there and I think about, so every morning, like I take walks and I like think about where am I going? What does the next 5 years look like? What's the impact? And I visualize it. I see that in my head so strongly. And it's that vision that pulls you out of a negative path, right? So
Hmm.
even I walked through a breast cancer diagnosis 5 years ago at
Hmm.
Christmas. It'll be 5 years. And literally what compelled me to keep getting out of bed and to keep, believing and keep knowing better days were ahead? It's because I kept having a vision of something I saw in my future. And I'm like, it had pull power to me to get me up and to keep me moving. Not only did my kids have pull power, my family had pull power, but my vision of
Yeah.
my future had pull power.
I have never heard it said that way, pull power. And I really like that. No, that's good. You keep going. You're on a roll. You
Yeah.
keep
So
going,
like
Amy.
it had pull power. So I was able to move from, okay, get out of bed. Cause there's days you're like discouraged. You're like,
Yeah,
what the
yeah.
heck? My, you know, you're in a wash machine of emotions.
Hmm.
But it was a vision that kept getting me up. It was a vision that kept like, God, you've got me. Lord, somehow this is working for my good. And, I've walked through enough things in this life. And one day here's the interesting thing. I was sitting in the doctor's office and I'll never forget this because he's like, Amy, here's what we got going on. And I could hear him, but louder than him, I heard this on the inside. When you walk through the waters, they won't overwhelm you. When you go through the fire, you won't be burned. And I'm like, what? And I'm listening to him, but I'm hearing this. And I'm like, what the heck? Because like this on the inside was louder than what was coming from his voice. Is that crazy?
No, amen. That's awesome.
But here's the thing. That gave me confidence when I walked through that. Like even though I walked through situations that terrified me, even
Yeah.
though I was, it has radically changed my life. It has radically changed. It has put me on purpose, like in a completely different way, right? I knew like, okay, you can walk through things. And I think that the grace of God gives you the ability to walk through things and not look like you've been burned and not look like what you've walked through. Right.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, so I do. So again, future pacing is always everything I do when I want to be in inactivity, I want to be in discouragement. I want to be like poor little old me, the president of the plum club. Like literally the only way I get myself out of it is I future pace. What will my future self think? What will my future bank account think? What will my future health thank me for? What will, you know what I mean? So I take action steps based on that because none of us want to do disciplines. You have to choose your hard. There's no such thing. I mean, it's not exciting to make celery juice every morning. I've never had a desire for it, yet it's my consistent plan, right? I never really want to go out and exercise, but you do it anyway. I never really want to get out of bed and reset my brain, but I do it every morning anyway
Hmm.
because I know my future self is depending on me showing up in the best way. And I want my generations, my impact, my legacy, my health, my bank account to all look like I showed up.
I love that. Yeah, I was just listening to it must have been one of your podcasts, although I think it was on YouTube, about future pacing. So you even mentioned like, what is it going to look like at my funeral? Like that we should be thinking about that. Yeah. And I mean, above and beyond that, what's going to look like when I have to meet my maker, right? I mean, like, what's God
Uh-huh.
going to say about the actions that I took?
Uh-huh.
And if I fulfilled, I think what you said something like, will you fulfill what was intended for you? Or were you
Uh-huh.
living in fear? Were you not taking steps forward, whatnot? So you say it much better than I can, but maybe can you do you remember what you said on that episode? Amy? No.
Well, doctor, here's the thing. I am a person that if I can live with worst case scenario, then it's okay. I go for it. But here's the thing that I recognize. I can't live with worst case scenario and the fact that I don't fulfill all that I was on this earth to fulfill.
Mhm.
Like that kind of regret is too weighty. So when I get in the situation where I want to cater to fear, I mean, I'm in the real estate business. That means I am a people pleaser. Like I high jump for people, right? But when I started my podcast, that was one of the scariest moments for me because I'm like, this is who I really am. You see me in the community, you see me
Mhm.
do this, you see me do that. But guess what? I'm a God person.
Mhm.
And Jesus is the only thing I got going for me. And he is my CEO, he's my best business partner. Like, you know what I mean? So, like here I am laying it out and he's like the all any success I've ever had has been is it's all him. It has I'm nothing. And I really know that. I'm very aware of that. Um I don't know where I'm getting off on the track of
No,
this.
that's
What were
okay.
you?
We were just talking about future pacing and literally, I mean, in a kind of in a different way. I'm always sitting down with my patients and saying, okay, like when you're 90, maybe not when you're dead, but like when you're 90, do you want to be able to get off the toilet? Like, do you
Yeah,
want to be able to feed yourself? Like, there's certain things like if you want to be able to do these things, then we need to look, backwards. You need to
right.
have so much muscle mass to account for the decline that's going to happen. You need to be exercising in preparation for what's going to happen
Yeah,
if you don't want to end up in a facility. And I mean, you know what I'm trying to say, but
yeah,
in a similar but different way, you're saying what's more important than your physicality is really, are you using God's given talents? Are you doing what you were called to this earth to do? And that's very convicting. Like you say it very well, but yeah, I mean, future pacing, yeah, we can interpret that many different ways, but it's something that we should be doing. So, yeah.
To me, it's just a thing. Like we was actually one of our transaction coordinators. Her mom just died, and we were on the way yesterday to the visitation, and we
Mhm.
walked in there, and the funeral home was full of people. And I said, "Isn't this wonderful?" Like there were so many people there, and everyone looks at me like, "You're so weird." And I'm like, guys, do not ever think about your funeral. Do not ever think about what impact you'll leave. And
Mhm.
they're like, no. And I go, I've been thinking about that since I was probably about 10. Like it's always been a thing for me. What will you be remembered for? Will you leave anything on this earth? And the only reason I started recording my podcast on this, like on YouTube and all the things, is because I wanted to leave legacy for my kids that they could go
That's
back in a
beautiful.
digital
Yeah,
age.
yeah,
In a
yeah.
digital age, think what we can leave behind that you couldn't leave before, right?
Right,
So
right.
we have a responsibility like, hey, I mean, Dr. Stephanie, you want your kids to know,
Mm-hmm.
right? You want them to hear your voice, know how you led, know how you believed, the impact that you made. And like books, digital opportunities, like I take that very seriously because it's not
Yeah.
with just a today's intent. It's like I'm building this framework for my kids. and for their generations, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
God is a generational God from one generation to the next. And like, what legacy and impact will you leave? And sometimes we forget to just, I think it's so easy to go undocumented.
Yeah, sometimes or
And
a lot of times. Yeah, I hope the listeners are getting convicted and they're thinking about their impact because this is pretty
like if
powerful.
you
Yeah.
think about this. Think about like the children of Israel when they crossed the Red Sea and God said, go get that rock, go bring it in because they had to have a stone of remembrance to look at because they're going to hit a challenge that their faith would need to look and say, oh, God, you came through for me here
Hmm.
and you're going to
Hmm.
come through for me here. And you did this for them and you did this for them. And so how do you build a legacy of faith and advancement? Like this, our conference that I'm going to be doing in January, I'm leaning into it. Faith forward,
Hmm.
right? So
I have to go on a little tangent here just to tie in fertility again, just because, that was one of my things that I needed to take action on and, overcome obstacles. And you just talking about the Israelites, and I'll just say, the slaves in the Bible, like one of my mom's friends had sat down with me, or maybe it was my mom that said this actually, was she, no, it was her friend who said, it doesn't matter like what you're going through or what your problems are. She's like, did you know that it's been said that the Israelites were reproducing, right? They're starving, they're worked to death, and they're reproducing. Think of all the people that had to cross the Red Sea, reproducing at a much faster rate than the Egyptians were. So
yeah.
despite their struggles,
Uh-huh.
I mean, because infertility is mentioned all through the Bible, but yet the
Yeah.
Israelites, they're still reproducing. And so I just wanted to, that, I don't know why, my brain just went there when you were, yeah, with what you were saying. But yes. Okay, so let's talk about moving forward because you also have a great episode that talks about miracle being in your movement.
Yeah.
And and we've already mentioned this. I mean, we're kind of talking about the same things over and over here again, but what do you mean by that? What do you mean by the miracle is in the movement?
Well, the only way to like unstuck yourself, Dr. Seuss, right? Is movement. And God, you have to give God something to work with. You have to give, and if you're not a God person, like let's call it the universe, call it
Universe, yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
You have to have something out there to work with. So you can't sit idly and dream and think and, oh, this would be good without taking an action step. There's nothing to like,
Mhm.
there's nothing, you don't have anything, you don't have any seed in the ground, so to speak. Like I have to give God something to work with.
Mhm.
I have to take the next step. I have to make the phone call. I have to go show up at this meeting. I have to go work out. I have to set up the doctor's appointment. Even though everything in me might be resisting it, again, your future self is depending on you showing up in your best way. And think about if you would have quit with your discouragement with your fertility issues.
I know little
And
Mikey wouldn't be here. I know. Ugh.
but think about the oil that you're bringing to this earth. And what do I mean by that? Like the balm and the oil that you're bringing to this earth by like you didn't do you're like God, you'd bring me through this. I'm going to spread it to
Mhm.
the masses. And
Mhm.
guess what? You didn't like wait like 5 years. I'm going to wait till things settle down and then I'll tell my story. You went right into activity
Mhm.
in a crazy time for you, I'm sure,
I had to get that story out there. Yeah.
because you're on mission.
Yes. Yes. So true. And yet, regardless of the challenge, whether be it infertility or chronic pain, I know you dealt with that and whatnot, right? That you're going through. I love that you have to just keep moving. Just take the one next step. Just think of the one next step that you can do. You don't have to do 10, to do one. Just keep moving. I want to come back to your morning routine though.
Yeah.
So you tell us about, you kind of already did, but again, tell us about your morning routine and how it impacts the rest of your day. What all do you do every morning?
Well, I start with celery juice. And I've been drinking organic celery juice for 7 years now.
Do you want to give us the small backstory
I'll
to
give
that?
you a small little
Yeah, yeah,
backdrop.
yeah, yeah.
I was literally chronically, my back was bad for decades. Like I had really tight muscles. I was really inflamed. And I drove around, I traded vehicles and mattresses as often as people change clothes. I mean, I couldn't get comfortable ever. So I was at my wit's end. I mean, surgery wasn't really a good option. And I had massage, chiropractic, all the things, supplements, all the things. I couldn't get free. But I know that this is what I also know. Like, I'm like, God, you've got to pass for me. This is not how my life is. I had two small children at the time. I'm like, I can't even hardly carry them. This is very impactful. I can't really lift him up and I'm in agony every day. And all of a sudden I'm like on Instagram somewhere and this medical medium pops up with people like about celery juice. And I'm like, I have absolutely nothing to lose. I went and bought several stalks of celery and I'm like, I'm just going to do this. This is like last ditch effort before I have to like figure something else out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I did that. And within like 2 weeks, I started to feel different. I'm like, I feel kind of different. Like I'm not sitting on as many ice packs a day. I'm not, I smell like icy hot all the time. You know what I mean? My team tells me I was constantly rubbing my legs. I'd do a meeting and
Oh,
I'm always like rubbing, stretching, leaning up
trying
against the
to
wall,
just survive.
trying to get
Yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah, yeah.
And within like 3 weeks, I'm like, my husband's like, you haven't asked me to like work on your back like in weeks.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't. And it just started to be, I mean, I didn't get there overnight.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't get to the pain point overnight and I didn't unravel it overnight. But
I bet that celery juice helped your kidneys. I bet you were, I mean, seriously. I bet
really,
kidneys were part of your back pain. Yeah. But that's just
yeah,
you keep talking.
no, this is interesting. But literally the celery juice has changed my life. It's I mean, I can do everything. I used to play golf. I couldn't play golf, like ride a bike. I couldn't do any of those things. And now I can do everything. And
So you're
I'm
sticking with
grateful.
it. So you're drinking your celery juice.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I never woke up one day in my life and said, I want to have celery juice. That sounds so good. Never. And here's the thing. I prepare it the night before. I get it all cleaned up. I juice my juicer. I put it out in the garage so because it's loud. I don't want to wake my kids up because I got that secret time. Shh, shh. Okay. You don't want to wake your kids up. I never want to do any of it for the record. And it doesn't matter. So then I'll typically, I'm like, then I'm going to go walk and I'm going to talk. I'm going to reset my mind. That's critical.
And every day are you future pacing? I mean, every day are you thinking of the long term?
I am.
Yeah, good for
Here,
you.
here's the thing. It's kind of a weakness on one hand because I have to I have to be very aware to stay present in the moment.
Sure.
But I'm always like, in fact, I have a friend who just wrote a book on, it just came out yesterday actually, and it's all about using your strengths to overcome cancer. And so she interviewed me in it, and I didn't
Yeah.
even know this because she's a strengths coach, right? I didn't even know it. And she's like, Amy, what? I go, I future paced. I put pictures of healthy me on the mirror. I put pictures
Yes.
of
Yes.
I saw pictures of myself really old with my kids on a really fantastic vacation. Like I future paced, like I visioned like I saw a different image.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I mean, that's what I saw with my family too. Like I mean, saw us as a one kid family. I knew there was another child out there for us. I could see it. Like I just
Yeah.
didn't know if it was a boy or girl, but I knew there was, I could see
Yeah.
it. And thank God it came to fruition. Okay. Anything else you do in the morning or is that your morning routine? Walk, future pace, drink your celery juice.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
always listening to something motivational, inspirational,
Yep.
spiritual every day.
Yep. Yep. Okay. What about how do you feel about honoring commitments to yourself? What's the power of that?
It's the most important thing you can do in this world is honor your commitment to yourself. Because think about this, authenticity is like the highest vibrational frequency on earth. I used to think it'd be like love or fear or anything. It's not, it's authenticity.
Hmm.
Okay. So when you're authentically true to yourself and you honor your own commitments, you trust yourself, which is huge. You're never going to accomplish much if you don't trust yourself because everything comes against it. You're
True.
going to get buffeted from every side when you start to make advancement. I call them border guards, right? Like you're going to have to walk through those narrow paths and you have to trust yourself, but also you just have to know, like when you talk with people, like they authentically know you're real because you do what you say you're going to do. And
Hmm.
if you don't, this is what starts to happen. You start to have a little lack of confidence in your head. You're like, I think this will work but when you know that you know that you know, I do what I say I'm going to do. I trust myself. It's the most important commitment you can honor and everything else comes forward from it. And I used to like be the one like, oh, I'm going to get up and, at nighttime, at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, I'm getting up at 5. I'm going to work out. I'm going to crush it. And at 5, snooze, 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 snooze. And I would go into my day behind the 8 ball, not prepared. and just like not on my game, not showing up as my best self. So when I just decided, like, all I have to do is win the moment, put your foot outside the bed, put it on the, you know what I mean? And do it. And I started to do it. I started to show up for myself. And I've only been doing this consistently where I say, man, I really know that I honor my own commitments. It's probably over like the last 5 or 6 years. It's become really like, wow, everything. And I've always been disciplined, but like I took it to a different level. And I see the benefit of that. And I
Hmm.
see the impact of it. And it has everything to do with your outside world.
And again, tying this into health, I mean, I so see that with my patients. I mean, the ones that are exercising and eating clean and taking their supplements and working on stress modification. And I mean, I just see how it pays off. And I love it. I love seeing that.
And it's
Okay.
not easy, is it? It's easier to
No,
drive through and go
no.
to go to Culver's or drive through and or get the pizza or whatever. It's
Sleep
not
in,
easy to
don't,
meal
yeah,
prep. It's not easy to
right.
to do all the things. And maybe you're spending more money on supplements and things like that. And you're like, yeah, sorry, I'm not going to do this. You're making choices.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Choices that impact your future. Okay. We're kind of jumping topics here, but I want to go to gratitude because you're big on gratitude. So how does that play into your success and the listener's success, whatnot? How powerful
Oh,
is
I forgot to
gratitude?
tell you that.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
part of my morning routine. This is
Oh,
the
okay,
very
okay,
first thing.
okay,
It's so part of my breathe. It's like breathing to me.
okay.
When I wake up, I'm like, oh, thank God I woke up. Thank God. Thank you for waking me up today. Thank you for giving me breath in my body. That
Wow.
means I have a purpose.
Yeah.
A lot of people weren't afforded that opportunity. I go so base that I'm thankful for my breath. And that sounds so lame and so whatever, but I'm like, I have extreme gratitude for the fact that God keeps waking me up. I just do. I'm grateful.
He has you
And
on mission. He keeps waking you up.
yeah. And I'm like, I'm thankful for that. I'm so
Yeah.
thankful. I mean, you see it every day.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
like, that's your world. But I'm grateful. And I think gratitude shifts everything. Gratitude is so critical because, like, spending, like, even like science knows it. Science knows that if you spend even a minute or two in gratitude, that you shift your body composition, you stress hormones, diminish, but neuroplasticity. The thing about it is what you think about, you bring about. So when you have gratitude, and you have an attitude of thankfulness, all your eye is seeing all through the day is all the reasons to be grateful for. But if you start grumbling and moaning and complaining, if that's how you start your day, then all day long, life just keeps serving up things to just confirm, oh, yeah, that's bad, and this is bad, and this is bad. So it's really, you have the ability to rewire your brain with gratitude, and it's powerful. And I have a dear friend of mine went to heaven this last year. She was 96. And I said, Ruth Ann, how have you lived so joyfully? She looks so wonderful. I mean, she was so beautiful. Like, there's not that many people who say they're 96 and they're so beautiful and they carry just this gracious spirit about them and people are drawn to them. Everyone wanted to be around her at 96. That's rare. Okay. I'm like, what is it? She goes, every day I wake up, I'm grateful to be alive. And I know I don't take that for granted. So
Mhm.
every person I come in contact with, I'm like, how can I make their life better? And I watched her intentionally do that. I watched her in hospital rooms in really bad situations. And you know what she would say? Sometimes those nurses would come in and they work on late shifts and they're kind of grouchy or, people come in and it's like, ugh. And she'd say, you know what? I'm so glad you showed up.
Oh,
God knew I needed you today. I'm telling you, you
oh,
want to shift someone's perspective? I was getting really bad service at a restaurant not very long ago, and I thought, I'm getting so annoyed because I like good service. I'm getting so annoyed. I'm trying not to keep it on my face. I'm like, I'm about ready to tell her something. And I'm like, oh, go Ruth Ann on her. She came back over. I said, thank you for showing up at work today. I really needed you. And all of a sudden it went from, she went, huh? I go, yeah, God knew I needed you today. Thank you for showing up. I'm telling you, I got the best service the rest of the meal. Oh, super serve. How can your words just shift someone else's life?
gratitude, very, very, very powerful. Okay, couple more questions here. What do you mean when you say life's happening for you, not to you?
So I believe that that which is meant for your evil, God will turn for your good. So even if it wasn't good, God will make good out of it. And I don't think God brings like sickness and bad things upon us, but I do know that that we live in a fallen world and it does pass through his hands, right?
Hmm.
But I believe that if you just look at it as it's a training center, whatever you're walking through is just a school. It might not be fun, but what am I gleaning from it? It'll build a foundation. If you stay in an attitude of gratitude, you stay with a positive, grateful mindset, even when you're walking through hell, there's something being built on the inside of you that no one can take from you. There's something being built, like I believe it foundationally builds a structure that continues to grow, a foundation for greater future, greater impact. And so I think like I've been in some snowstorms, right?
Hmm.
I've been in some storms in my life, and I think you're either in a storm or walking through a storm or on the mountaintop and heading for another storm. You know what I mean? Life's life. It happens to everybody. Um, but I believe God meant it for good. Like if you can look at things, God means it for good. What am I supposed to learn out of this? And if you come through with an attitude of expectation and thankfulness, that it's always working for you. And I remember just quickly, I had a really bad situation happen, and it had to do with a lawsuit, and it was an 18-month deal. Okay, and there was a lot on the line, and it was like so awful and so from left field. And I'm like, what the heck? And I remember pacing through my house and I was freaking out. And E&O insurance said, hey, they're not going to cover me. It could be way too many, the damages could be way too high. Like, that's serious, guys. Okay. And I'm like, what the heck? But here's the thing, I learned multiple things out of it. I sat down one morning and I flipped open the Bible and I was pacing and I'm like, opening it like, what the heck? And that scripture jumped out at me, and it was about Joseph, right? You know, he tells his dream to his brothers. They throw him in the pit. Oh, we better not throw him in the pit. We better not get him killed. We'll just sell him off to slavery. They sell him off to Egypt. He goes through everything, but he's
Hmm.
on this path. He has this vision. He had to go through he had to get to Potiphar's house.
Hmm.
He became the breadbasket for the world because that was what his vision was, right? But the process of it was, okay.
Long and
The
hard.
process,
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
process to your promise is very bumpy. And if anyone tells you it's different, well, I think that they're not telling the truth. But literally, I remember hearing that. Okay, I'll like that which is meant for your evil, God will turn for your good. And so here's the thing: every time fear would try to take me over, because I knew I hadn't done anything wrong, I'm like,
Hmm.
that which is meant for. Okay, so I would go through that, and I might say that 30 times a day, depend, and then it'd go for a while, and I'd be okay, and then it'd hit it again, because it has time frames. But this is what I can tell you. I came out of that situation, and I had been on a long fast, and all of a sudden I heard it's over. It's over. And I was like, interesting, it's over. And I walked into my office, I go, hey, it's over, guys. And they're like, what do you mean? I go, I just know it's over. And they're like, are you serious? I go, yeah, it's over. And I got a call from my attorney the next day, and he goes, Amy, I got to tell you something. And I said, what? He goes, you're not going to believe what happened. And I go, what? He goes, well, his attorney just fired himself, and it's going to be almost impossible for him to get representation again, because that just kind of is like the crazy card, right? Like the crazy card must have been coming out, and the attorney's like, I'm out, right? So he goes, he fired himself. He goes, but we have to go. We've got another process. And if he shows up, the lawsuit will continue on. I go, he'll show up, but I know it's over. And he goes, yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm like, okay. And he's a really good guy, and he's really, really great. Anyway, so, 3 weeks later, yep, the guy does show up, and he calls me and goes, yeah, he showed up. So most likely this is going to continue. And he calls me an hour later. He goes, I've never seen this in 50 years of my practice. The judge called me and said they're throwing the case out completely. Okay. But here's what I learned in this process. The day I met with that guy, I met with a builder. I knew that I knew that I knew I wasn't supposed to work with him.
Hmm.
I went back to my office. I told my team, I said, you know what? I've got to stay away from this person. Like, I know I'm not supposed to work with him, but man, he builds some cool stuff. Okay. But I knew I wasn't supposed to work with him. So I said, I'm just going to go meet with him, give him my numbers, and tell him to go work with another agent. He said, okay. And literally I went back there and I got sucked into all of his houses. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I can totally kill this. This is great. And it ended up taking me into a nightmare, right? So I learned something. But guess what? Fast forward, I got a phone call for a really great house in a really great area. And I met with them and I got the exact same feeling.
Mm,
And I said, hey, I called him, I go, I'm not your person.
mm.
You've got a really wonderful house. You need someone super excited to work with you. It's a partnership. You got to just go with that other person. And guess what? They did. They fought it. And that person ended up in court. Like I learned something through
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Wow.
Like I
Wow.
learned, like I trust my gut. I trust when I have those feelings, like I'm trusting them.
Not peace, not
Not,
peace. Yeah.
I did not have peace. I had
The
so many
opposite
alarms
of
going
peace.
off. Huh?
Yeah, the opposite of peace. Red flag after red flag. Yeah.
Yeah, red flag. And what it would take me through was 18 months of horrible.
I can't
And,
imagine. Yeah.
it all got thrown out. I didn't even have attorney's costs involved in it. It all worked for me, but it built something on the inside of me like, God, I trust you.
Mm. Have you always been this way? I mean, how did you get to have this perspective? How
I
did
don't
you get to this
know.
place?
I don't know. Um, I didn't get married till I was 37. So I've done a lot of real estate and a lot of business
Yeah.
up until that point. And I had to really take God as like, you're my CEO.
Hmm.
Like you're my partner when I'm signing mortgages and I'm doing things that were lonely or, you know, I feel like like those lonely years. I mean, I didn't meet my husband until I was 34. Like, I feel like I know God in a different way
Hmm.
than a lot of people do because of just those kinds of things.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing. Okay. How do we speak God's promises over our lives?
How do you do it? I think that you just get your scripture, get your promises, and literally speak it over your life. I mean, I declare over my kids every day that they're blessed. They're
Mm,
blessed, they're favored, they find favor everywhere they go. And I think that we have to tap into that benefit package that God gives us. And we do so. And he loves to have it, he loves that we tap into it. Like, why? Like, hey, yeah, he says he surrounds you with a shield of favor. I'm like, okay, I'm favored. I'm increased. I'm blessed. I walk out, under an open heaven. Oh, it might not feel like it. You know what I mean? But if you keep confessing the promises of God, then he's faithful to perform his word.
mm.
And I think it's all voice activated. You have to speak it out loud. You have to prophesy. The Bible says, can these dry bones live? Yes. Hear the word of the Lord. You probably had to prophesy over your body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's why, I mean, it's wonderful the legacy you're leaving for your children, but just praying at those promises and speaking that truth over their lives, that's something that I was very fortunate that I try to do for my children. I need to do a better job at it, but my parents did a great job. I mean, every night before bed, they were speaking promises over us. And yes, my mother also knew there was another child coming for us. It just took a
Yeah.
long time for him to arrive. But I just feel so fortunate to have that. And so your kids are, well, they're blessed to have you speak that over them. That's incredible.
I mean,
And we can all do that for ourselves. You know, if you don't have
yeah.
the parent that has done that for you, you can do that over yourself.
Start today.
Yes. Heck yes. Heck
That's
yes.
the thing. Start today. Like I'm like, start easy. Like don't get into overwhelm. Start easy. Like, thank you, God, for your goodness to me. Thank you, I'm on this earth, that you have a plan for me, right? And
Just as you roll out of bed,
that your
thank
plan
you
is
that I
good
have
and that I
that breath.
woke
Yes,
up.
yes, yes,
Start simple.
yes. Okay, so we kind of have already talked about this too, but as we're getting close to the conclusion of the episode, you also say your place of pain can be your place of rain. So share again how God can use brokenness to birth breakthrough.
Boy, like I think you're a great example of that. And just your whole testimony of walking through, was it 10 years of infertility?
It took 10 years to get two kids. So yes, had a long first for infertility struggle and then a secondary infertility struggle. So yeah.
But you're a living example of that. Like your point of passion is that someone else doesn't have to walk through what you walked through.
Hmm.
And you can meet people in a place that someone that hasn't walked through that can
Hmm.
never even begin to touch.
Right.
And so I think that you're collecting things on the inside of you. You're getting stronger and more resilient, and you're collecting all these truths on the inside of you when you're walking through hell. But when you come out on the other side of it, your ability to connect with another human being is at another level.
Hmm.
Your ability, it's like, I always say, it's like you get sticky, you get oily. When you've walked through that and then you can be like, you can sit with somebody else,
Hmm.
you can speak so much life to them. You can give them a path forward. I think you're like the best example of that.
What do I always say? The journey changed me in ways that the destination wouldn't have alone had I just immediately gotten pregnant, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you become a different person, and yes, you're more relatable. And yeah, and I do think that's helpful as a provider when I have patients struggling with infertility also, that
Yeah.
they know that like I've been there. I feel your pain. Literally, I've felt your pain, but we're gonna get through this. Like, let's get there. So speaking of, moving ahead, I mean, we got to take the next step, whether you got to order the next lab or whatever it is we need to do to get to the root cause of the problem. Let's take that next step.
But
So,
you're impactful because you've been there.
mhm.
If it's someone else sitting there that's 25 and they've had 3 kids already and they're like, hey, it's easy for
Different.
me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like you're
Yeah.
not, they're not going to connect with that when they're saying,
That's
oh,
not the
you'll
same
get it.
language. Yeah, yeah.
It's not that they can say the same words as you and it doesn't, again, authenticity.
Yeah, yeah.
They can say
Doesn't
the same
resonate
words. It
the
doesn't have
same.
any of the impact.
Yep. Agreed. So regardless of your place of pain, listeners, it can be your place of rain,
Yeah.
whatever that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to share, Amy? I know we've covered a lot of ground today.
I would just say don't quit. Whatever you're walking through, whether it's your health journey that you're on and you're so frustrated by it, or if it's financial, or if it's relational, whatever it is, if you don't quit and you stay in the game, there
Hmm.
will come a solution. And I told Dr. Stephanie last week, like, you're a hope dealer. That's what you are, that there's always something else. Like there's always, let's try this, let's try that.
Hmm.
And I think that that is the thing. Just don't quit.
Agreed. Agreed. Okay. What's your top longevity tip?
I would say my top longevity tip is probably gratitude and living with purpose.
That's
The
good.
purpose has to be bigger than you.
Yep, that's good.
It's not my four, no more. It's the purpose has to be bigger than you.
Sure. Okay, Amy, tell us more where listeners can find you, your business, and tell us more about your conference.
Okay, so my You Are More podcast, you can go to youaremore.com. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple, everywhere you have your podcast. You Are More podcast, right? And then, guys, I'm super excited. I hope that Dr. Stephanie will be with me next year. I'm just throwing that out there. January 17th, 2026. I have a Thrive event. It's a one-day women's conference, and I have April Osteen Simons. You may know her brother Joel, but she's so impactful. She's walked through hell and back. And like she is oily. She's wonderful to listen to. And then I got Dr. Michelle Green. She's going to be talking about women's health. And I've got so many other people that are going to come in with tactical and practical ways, mindset shifts, different little hacks to move forward and not have another Groundhog's Day. Let's not have a repeat of 2025. Let's move forward. It'll give you vision. You'll leave with vision. You'll leave with, man, I've had so many people tell me, Amy, my life looks different after attending that one day event. And there's something about being around a community of women that are all moving forward. There's something magical about it, you know?
Oh yeah, I mean
So go to yourmore.com and get your ticket.
heck yeah, listeners' lives will be different just from listening to this episode. So back to the conference though, January
Yeah.
17th, and is that in, did you say
It's
Cedar
it.
Falls or
It's
Waterloo?
Waterloo.
Waterloo.
It's
Okay,
at the Waterloo Convention Center.
awesome. So you can get tickets on her website.
Yep,
And then
yourmore.com.
and then your real estate business, where can they find you?
Amy Wienands Real Estate,
Okay,
amywienands.com.
okay, awesome. Thank you so much for being here today. Just
Dr.
sharing
Stephanie, I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
I know our listeners are walking away with so much. The reminder that the miracle is in our movement. You just got to take that next step, and that God uses our broken places to bring breakthrough, and that we are truly, as you say, more than we often believe. So if today's conversation spoke to you, listeners, check her out. Check out her podcast. It is just there. All her episodes are just very moving. Connect with her on Instagram. Know you can attend her conference. And remember, life is happening for you. Like Amy said, not
Yeah.
to you, but for you. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming on the show.
Yeah.
This
Thank
was
you.
impactful. Amazing.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Amy.
Thank you.